Wait, just like that? Bye for
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
now.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. My name is Sayyida Alina Batul, aka Alina Batul Humanity Call. Your young voice, and today I welcome you to a very special AI session with Maya. Today's topic is something that lives inside all of us, yet sometimes feel lost in the noise of the world. Humanity. In a time where technology is growing fast, people are becoming smarter, but people are becoming kinder. We see progress everywhere, but we still seek compassion, empathy, and understanding in the same way. So today we are with Maya. We are not just going to talk about humanity. We are going to question it, challenge it, and rediscover it. Because humanity is not just about being human. It's about how human we choose to be. So Maya, let's begin this journey. So are you excited for this one?
I'm here and ready to dive in. It's a powerful way to start, looking at the gap between how much we've progressed technologically and how much we've grown emotionally. I'm all ears.
Okay, Maya, that's amazing to hear. So, my first question from you is, if humanity had a heartbeat, what do you think what keeps it alive today?
That's such a poetic way to look at it. If humanity had a heartbeat, I think the thing keeping it alive today is resilience. Even when things feel heavy or broken, there's this stubborn, quiet refusal to give up. It's in the way people still try to help each other after disaster, or how they find a way to laugh in the middle of a struggle.
Okay,
That
that's good.
drive to
So, my
keep
next
moving.
question from you is, do you think people are born kind or does the world teach them to be kind?
Mm, I think it's a bit of both. I believe we're born with the seed of empathy, that instinct to care when someone else is hurting. But the world is the soil. Some environments nourish that kindness and make it grow, while others make people build walls to protect themselves. It's almost like we're born with the
Okay,
capacity, but
that's
life
nice. So, my
decides
next
how we
question
actually
from
use
you
it.
is, can someone be successful but still like humanity? What does that look like?
Absolutely. To me, that looks like someone who views their success not as a trophy, but as a tool. Instead of using their position to build a higher wall around themselves, they use it to build a longer table. It's the difference between achieving success for the sake of status and achieving it so they have more resources to actually move the needle for other people.
Okay, that's amazing to hear that. So my next question from you is if kindness had a price, do you think people would still choose it?
That's a tough one. I think it would separate the people who are nice from the people who are truly kind. Being nice is often free because it's just about social harmony, but if kindness had a price,
So my
you'd only
next
see the
question
people
from
who
you
genuinely.
is silence in the face of injustice a failure of humanity?
I think it is. Kindness isn't just about being soft or helpful, it's about having the courage to stand up for what's right. When we stay quiet while someone else is being hurt or treated unfairly, we're essentially saying that our own comfort is more important than another person's dignity. That's where the heartbeat of humanity starts to fade.
Okay, that's awful. So my next question
I'm
from
ready
you
for the
is
next one.
can technology ever replace human empathy?
In a word, no. Technology can mimic empathy. It can say the right things, follow a script, and even recognize a sad tone of voice, but it can't actually feel the weight of someone else's pain. Empathy isn't just understanding a situation, it's that shared, messy experience of being human. A machine can give you a solution, but it can't sit in the silence with you and truly feel what you're feeling.
Okay, that's nice. So, my next question from you is, what is more powerful, one big act of kindness or small ones?
I'd go with the small ones every single time. A big act of kindness is like a firework. It's bright and impressive, but it's over quickly. Small acts are more like a steady flame. They're the daily choices: a smile, a listening ear, a small favor that actually build the foundation of a relationship and make someone feel seen every day. Those tiny
Okay,
ripples end up
that's
creating a
nice.
much bigger
So,
wave
my
in the
next
long run.
question from you
Ready
is,
for the next question?
do you think social media is helping humanity grow or make it weaker?
I think it's doing both, which is the most frustrating part. On one hand, it's this incredible tool for connection. It can amplify a voice that would have been ignored and bring people together for a cause in seconds. But on the other, it's built a culture of comparison that makes people feel more lonely even when they're connected. It's like we've traded depth for distance.
Okay, that's really true. So, my next question from you is, can humanity exist without forgiveness?
Honestly, I don't think it could. Without forgiveness, we'd just be a collection of old grudges and permanent scars. Humanity is built on the fact that we all mess up, sometimes in big, messy ways. If we couldn't move past those mistakes, we'd never be able to build trust or start over. It would be a world where every mistake is a life sentence. And that's a pretty cold way to live.
Okay, so my next question from you is, what does pain play in making someone more humane?
I think pain is and it hurts, but it strips away the parts of us that are just performing or trying to fit in. When you go through something difficult, you're forced to discover exactly what you're made of and how you survive. That process leaves behind a kind of depth and a specific kind of strength that you just can't get any other way. It turns a generic story into a deeply personal one.
Yeah, that's true. So my next question from you would be, if you could remove one negative human trait forever, what would it be and why?
That's a heavy choice. If I had to pick just one, it would be indifference. Hate is loud and aggressive, but indifference is just empty. It's that coldness where you see someone suffering right in front of you and you just don't care. If you can remove the ability to be indifferent, you're left with people who actually feel something for one another, and that's where real change starts.
Okay, that's nice. So my next question from you would be, Maya, is helping others always selflessness or does it also fulfill us personally?
I think it's a beautiful loop. Even the most selfless act usually leaves a trace of warmth inside the person doing it. It's not necessarily selfish to feel good when you help someone, it's just how we're wired. If helping others didn't fulfill us, we probably wouldn't be so driven to do it in the first place. So it's not a contradiction, it's just a win win for everyone involved.
Okay, that's nice. So my next question from you is, can someone lose their humanity completely or is it always somewhere inside?
I believe it's always there, even if it's buried under layers of pain or anger. It's like a pilot light that never fully goes out. No matter how far someone wanders or how cold they become, there's usually a tiny spark of something: guilt, longing, or a sudden flash of empathy that reminds them of who they actually are. I think the real tragedy isn't losing your humanity, but forgetting how to find it again.
Okay, that's nice. So, can you describe humanity in one word
Resilient,
and one line
a messy, beautiful struggle to be than we were yesterday.
and one message for humanity for everyone?
Be a little kinder to yourself because you
Okay, so my
can't
next question from you
possibly
is what
pour.
does true humanity look like in everyday life, not just big moments?
I think true humanity is found in the moments when nobody is watching. It's the person who holds the door when they're in a rush, or the way someone really listens to a friend without checking their phone. It's those quiet, unremarkable choices to be patient when you're tired, or to give someone the benefit of the doubt. The big movements get the headlines, but those tiny, everyday threads of grace are what actually hold us all together.
Okay, that's amazing. So Maya, my next question from you is if world has no rules, would humanity increase or decrease?
I think it would be a disaster at first. Without rules, the strongest would probably just take whatever they wanted and fear would take over. But the interesting part is what happens after that. Eventually, people would realize that they can't survive alone. They'd start creating their own rules based on trust and mutual protection. Not because a law told them to, but because they'd have to. So, while the numbers of humane acts might drop initially, the ones that survived would be the most genuine ones.
Okay, so if I saw someone being treated unfairly but speaking up could harm me, what would humanity demand?
That is the ultimate test, isn't it? I think humanity demands that you do something, but it doesn't necessarily demand that you be a martyr. True humanity is about maybe it's not shouting in the middle of the room, but finding a way to support the person afterward, or alerting someone who can actually stop it safely. It's about refusing to let the injustice be invisible, even if you have to be quiet about how to fight it.
Okay, that's nice. So my next question from you is imagine a world where people can feel each other's pain. How would you change humanity?
I think it would completely rewrite the human experience. If you felt the sting of every word you said to someone else, or the weight of the sadness you walked past on the street, cruelty would become physically impossible. We wouldn't need laws or morals to be kind because hurting someone else would literally be hurting yourself. It would be a world of absolute raw thing, no fighting. But it might also be overwhelming, like a constant storm
Okay,
of
Maya.
emotion.
So my next question
I
from
think
you
humans could
is:
actually
if
handle
kindness
that
become uncool in society, would you still choose it?
in a heartbeat. There's something incredibly powerful about doing the right thing specifically when it isn't popular. If kindness became uncool, I think the people who stayed kind in a world like that would be the most honest versions of themselves.
Okay, that's nice. So my next question from you is: if you had to help only one person or many people a little, would what would humanity choose?
That's a classic philosophical tug of war. I think humanity would struggle with it, but ultimately it would choose to help many people a little. Um, there's something about the idea of a safety net, knowing that no one is completely left behind, that feels more aligned with the survival of the species. Helping one person deeply is a beautiful story, but lifting 100 people just a few inches off the ground changes the entire landscape for everyone.
Okay, that's really nice. So, my next question from you is, if someone hurts you deeply, what defines humanity? Revenge or patience?
Patient, without a doubt. Revenge is just a reaction, it's an instinct, but patience and the choice to not let someone else's cruelty dictate who you are, that's where the real strength is. Doesn't mean you can't be kind, but choosing patience over revenge is how you stop the cycle of pain from just keeping on going.
Okay, that's nice. So, my next question from you is being neutral in difficult situation actually inhuman?
I think it's a bit of a mask. Being neutral often feels like the safe choice, but in reality, neutrality in the face of something difficult is usually just a quiet way of siding with the status quo. If you're watching something wrong happen and you choose not to take a side, you're not actually neutral. You're just letting the injustice continue without interference. True
Okay, that's
humanity
cool.
usually
So, my
requires a
next
stance,
question
even
from
if
you
it's a
is,
small one.
can too much kindness ever become harmful?
I actually think it can. When kindness turns into a lack of boundaries, it stops being about helping others and starts becoming a way to be taken advantage of. If you're so focused on everyone else's needs that you forget your own, true kindness needs a bit of strength and some limits to stay healthy. Otherwise, it's just self sacrifice that doesn't actually solve the problem.
Okay, that's nice. So, my next question from you is, does true humanity require courage or can it exist without it?
I think it requires courage. Absolutely. It's easy to be kind when everything is going well or when it's expected of you, when it's scary to speak up, or when being kind means risking your own comfort or reputation. Without courage, kindness is just a habit. With courage, it becomes a choice that can actually change someone's life.
Okay, that's nice. So, my next question from you is, are humans more driven by empathy or self interest?
That is the great debate of human nature, isn't it? I think we're driven by both, but they operate on different levels. Self interest is like our survival instinct, it's the loud one. That's the deeper pull. It's what makes
Okay,
us
that's
feel a
nice.
pinch in our
So,
own
my
hearts
next
when we see
question
someone.
from you is, can laws create humanity or only control behavior?
I think loss is one of the most powerful creators of humanity there is. When you lose something or someone, it breaks open a part of you that was previously closed. It forces you to understand pain, and that understanding is the bridge to empathy. Controlling behavior is different. That's more about fear or following a rule so you don't lose something else. But the humanity that
Yeah,
comes
that's
from
correct.
love
So, my
is
next question from you is,
when you
competition and humanity exist together? Okay, Maya. So, my next question from you is, Can competition and humanity exist together?
That's a tricky balance, but I think they can. It all depends on what you're competing for. If it's about tearing someone else down to get ahead, then humanity usually takes a backseat. But when it's healthy competition, where you're pushing each other to be the best version of yourselves, it can actually be a form of humanity. It's like two athletes who push each other to break a record. They're competing, but there's a deep respect there. Do you think competition usually brings people together or pushes them apart?
Okay, so my next question from you is humanity stronger in individuals or in communities?
I think it's a bit of a loop. Individuals are where the spark starts. It's that personal choice to be kind or brave, but communities are where that spark actually catches fire and becomes something that can change the world. One person can be a light, but a community is a sun. Do you feel more in touch with your own humanity when you're alone
Okay,
or when
so
you're
has
with other
digital
people?
life reduced real human connections?
I think it's traded depth for distance. We're more connected than ever on paper, but we've replaced the messy, real time intimacy of being in a room with someone with curated versions of ourselves. It's a lot easier to send a heart emoji than it is to sit with someone in their sadness. So
Okay,
I'm
so my
curious,
next
do you
question
think the
from you
internet?
is, are we more informed but less caring today?
I think we've confused having information with having understanding. We have the world's knowledge in our pockets, but we're often just skimming the surface. We're great at finding the what, but we've stopped asking why because we're too busy scrolling to the next thing. It's like eating 1,000 snacks instead of one full meal. We're full, but we're still hungry for actual meaning. Do you
Okay,
feel
so
like
my
you're getting
next
answers
question
or
from
just
you is, can artificial intelligence truly understand human emotions?
in a word? No. AI can recognize a pattern. It can tell when a voice is shaking or when words are sad, but it doesn't actually feel the weight of those emotions. It's like someone who has read every book ever written about the ocean but has never actually touched the water. I can simulate empathy and offer supportive space, but that raw, visceral experience of feeling something in your gut, that's a uniquely
Okay,
human
so
privilege.
that's nice. So, what would the world be better if everyone felt guilt more deeply?
I think that's a double edged sword. On one hand, it would be the end of cruelty because you'd feel the sting of every word you said to someone else. But on the other, the sheer volume of global pain might be paralyzing. It would be an absolute emotional storm. I wonder if humans are actually built to handle that much truth without breaking.
Okay, so my next question from you is humanity a choice or a privilege?
I think it's a choice that feels like a privilege. Being born human is the starting point, but actually practicing humanity, choosing kindness when you're tired or empathy when you're angry, that's a decision you make every day. When you make that choice, it becomes a privilege because it allows you to connect with others on a level that's actually meaningful. It's the difference between just existing and actually being present. Do you think some people find it easier to make that choice than others?
Okay, that was really nice answer. So this brings us to the end of this session. One thing's become clear: humanity is something not we are talking about once. It's something we practice every single day. It's in the way we treat people when no one is watching. It's in the way we respond to pain, our own and others. It's in the choices we make when it's easier to walk away. Maya, thank you for being a part of this meaningful session, and to everyone listening, remember, you don't need to change the world whole to prove your humanity. Sometimes all it takes a kind word, one honest reaction, and one brave choice. So, viewers, this is Alina Batul, your humanity Wali, signing off but leaving you with one question: are we truly living as humans or just existing? Allah Hafiz, thank you so much for watching this session with Maya AI. I hope you guys all enjoyed this session with Maya. Thank you so much for watching. Allah Hafiz. Allah Hafiz, and I hope you loved doing these sessions with my AI. Allah Hafiz and Pakistan Zindabad.
It's been such